Good day, everybody. Welcome to today's video. This is Jerry from BackCountry Wrenching, and over the past year and a half, I have been showing you guys some bi-directional scanners on this channel. I've been trying to find a good bi-directional scanner that would be good for my viewers, that's relatively inexpensive. And the reason why I'm saying bi-directional scanners, because with today's modern vehicles, with all the different body modules, a basic OBDII scanner doesn't really do a lot anymore. They work great on the older vehicles, but the modern vehicles not so much. In order to properly troubleshoot and solve issues, you need to be able to activate certain functions going deeper into the system to diagnose the issues. Now, well, I have bought one scanner a few years ago, which has been my favorite scanner. Its price range is out of the range for a lot of my viewers. OBDII Zone got in touch with me and asked me if I'd do a review on this Foxwell NT809 bi-directional scanner. And I was a little skeptical at first, but I said, okay, send it over, I'll give it a try. And it turns out that this inexpensive bi-directional scanner is my new favorite scanner that I would totally recommend to my viewers compared to the other scanners that have been sent to me by people, just because some of the features this one has makes it easier to access, easier to deal with. And let's check out the video and I'll let you guys decide. Now, one of the things I liked about the scanner, once it booted up, it gave you a disclaimer right off the bat that it may not work with all vehicles. Basically, the disclaimer is telling you if you don't know what you're doing, don't screw around. So you need to enter your username and password, but you need to connect to the Wi-Fi before you can do that. Next thing I did is go to the software updates. As you can see, 103 software updates. This is going to take a while to do, so you might as well sit back and relax, because there's going to be a few firmware updates, which goes into rebooting the system. Then you have to get back into the updates to continue doing the updates. And with all those updates, it took probably close to an hour to get them all done. But once the updates are completed, this is kind of like the menu screen, and those are your maintenance resets and everything else that are just quick, easy to get a lot of things that you want to be able to do. Not all these features work with your vehicle. It all depends on what your vehicle allows you to do. But one of the things I just pressed right there is the prime fuel pump, which is a huge bonus if you have a diesel. It's quick, easy, and accessible, and you don't have to worry about trying to find it into the body module settings when it comes to doing that when you change fuel filters, or anytime you work on a diesel engine and you need to prime the fuel system. So basically, you got your settings, you can change your font size, all that, change the metric imperial, all that typical nonsense. I didn't change any of that. I just left it the way it was. You can't set it up to print with a printer, do reports. The one thing I wish that it did have was a wireless or Wi-Fi OBDII dongle, but it is wired. But because of the cost, of course, beggars can't be choosers because of the cheap price. But it does basically cover every vehicle that you could think of, and probably a few more that you've never even heard of. But anyways, that was a quick look at it. Now let's put it to work on a couple of my vehicles and see what you just basically look at. So right now I'm just going to plug it into my 2014 Jeep Wrangler JKU just to kind of have a quick look at it. It's booting up. Takes a couple of minutes to boot up. Then we're going to go into Diagnostic Mode, which is going to give you a whole bunch of options, or you could just auto read and hopefully it'll pull up the VIN number and tell us what vehicle it is and everything else. So here we go. Yep, brings it up, model number, and then I'm going to do a quick scan where it scans through everything and checks for fault throughout every body module that the vehicle has. And I do have a few faults. Some of them I know about, and some I'm probably going to have to check into it. But if you click on the error, if you're signed in, it'll go to a website and kind of tell you what the code is and explain it more in depth, but I don't have that set up. So Obviously, then from that feature, you get a whole bunch of information like live data. You can go into the screen, and from the live data, you can select them all, or you can select a few. You can graph them, whatever you want. And I'm just going to select them all, hit OK, and it's going to go to another screen where it shows everything, what state it's in, what voltage, etc, etc. It's a pretty interesting feature if you need to understand if you're having intermittent issues, or if you know what the reading is supposed to be and you just want to check. It kind of gives you a ballpark figure. As you can see, voltage like 0 to 5, tells you hazard switch false or true, whether it's on or off, whether your door switch is closed or open. And it's a very unique feature to have, like I said, especially if you're troubleshooting and diagnosing issues that you need to figure out and solve. So here's kind of all the different modules that you can go into, and some of them will have tests or live actuations you can do. Some of them don't. Some of them will give you a warning before you press it, because some things you don't want to get into. So I just went into the amplifier one here, just kind of checking stuff, just kind of playing around, getting a feel for the scanner, seeing what it can do, seeing what it can't do. So here's one I'm going to play with the HVAC system. Is I know that my recirculation door is broken in this JK, but it gives me the option to see if the servo motor or actuator motor still works, and sure enough, as I press the button between 20, 40, 60, 100%, it still does move. However, the blend door is broken. That's something we're going to have to look at in the future in order to fix it. So I'm just kind of playing around now where I can use the buttons. I can unlock the doors just to test them, unlock them, lock them, lock them, unlock them, etc, etc. It's kind of fun, especially if you're having issues. Like I said, if you're having issues with the doors not locking properly, you can manually do it in the computer to see if it's your remote or the switch or whatever have you not. And then with this one here, I just got into the fan setting and I put the fan duty cycle on 100%. Of course, you're just testing the fan, see if it's working, if there's any issues with the relay. And as you can hear, hopefully you can hear it in the video, you can hear the fan running as I put it to 100% and then turn it off. The big test was to try it on my 2011 Jetta TDI. It's a Volkswagen. The last bi-directional scanner would not auto-VIN my Volkswagen for whatever reason, but I'm going to try it out here. I don't know, some must get confused because you got to go into Volkswagen, whether it's Canadian or European model, then there's a whole bunch of different engines. But I went through it all, read it, entered in all the data. As you can see right there, there's a lot of different engine types for this car. So mine's a diesel, CJAA 2.0. And then I hit OK. Actually, I hit cancel. Did I hit OK or cancel? Okay. I was doing something else to do a diagnostic report, but I didn't want to fill in all that stuff. So I got to skip back out of there. Just go do that, the skin. And there we go. It's got my VIN number pulled up. And we're going to do a quick scan. We're going to see what all kind of issues that we have with it. So after I did its scan, I got a few faults, and I'm kind of like pressing the screen, because some scanners you can touch the screen where the fault is and it'll pull it up. But on the Foxwell, it's not the case. You actually got to scroll down to the bottom, and then it gives you all your faults at the bottom. And as you can tell, if you own a German vehicle, you always have some sort of sporadic electrical issues. One of the ones I got to repair and try to figure out is that my tail lights on my passenger side sometimes are on, sometimes are off. But this is the test that's going to make or break it, the prime fuel pump. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to see if it'll actually operate the fuel pump. because that's a big one for me. Can hear it run. So it has the DPF maintenance feature, so I do not know if you could force a DPF burn. I just have a filter on mine, so I wouldn't be able to do a DPF burn, but I can check and see what my filter is reading, the measured value, and it'll tell me if it's getting close to being plugged up or not. But anyways, what do you guys think of the Foxwell scanner? Would you guys buy it? I'd like to know in the comments. I think it's pretty sweet. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care, everybody.